Hi everyone. Today's video is not something I'm looking forward to making, but I feel I sort of have to. If you read my written blog, then you'll have already seen a post about this, but there are some people I know who are just subscribed to my videos, and I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of something really awful that's going on. If you've been reading my written blog, or if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll see that I've had a few run-ins with certain companies, but I've never ever felt the need to say this before, and that is, please, please, please do not buy from this company. And this company is Glittersniffer Cosmetics. Now, hopefully you'll have heard something like this before, because it's been all over blogs, and I think there's been a couple of videos made about this, but maybe not too many. The list of things that this company has done wrong is as long as my arm, and I'm going to have to link to you to a lot of blogs and my own blog about it, because frankly there's so many awful things I'm liable to forget them. But I'll stick to the main ones. Okay, first of all, apparently Glittersniffer always had really bad I guess it would be counted as customer service. There's just countless stories of people who've ordered and their parcels have taken either months to arrive or just never got to the buyer at all, or has arrived and they've had the wrong order, or has arrived and the items have been faulty, or has arrived and the items have been like the pots of eyeshadow have been opened so it's spilled. And just all of that. It's insane how many orders did not get shipped, presumably, or Glittersniffer says that the post office lost them, but well, I've been using my English post office for years and I've had one parcel go missing in all that time, so I don't know, it seems very unlikely that hundreds of parcels are going missing from the post office, or you'd think there would be complaints going on. Anyway, so that's one bad thing, but that is nothing compared, really, that is nothing compared to the other things this company has done. The worst thing, the absolute worst thing, they have been repackaging soap dyes as eyeshadows. Now, Glittersniffer has said that, they always said that they weren't FDA approved for eye use, but always it was sort of, but I've used them on my eyes, so it's, and I hadn't had a problem, which is leading. It's saying, hey, I haven't had a problem, so you probably won't too, which just isn't the case. The reason they've been, no wait, actually, see, it gets worse, because there are some things that are just not approved for eye use. Now the reason for that, I'm not quite sure. I presume it's because the skin of your eye is so thin that things can get into your blood easily, or just if you'd fall out into your eye, it can cause problems. So yeah, there are some things that are not approved for eye use, but are approved for other cosmetics, like blush, possibly lipstick, but then there are other things that are not approved for lip use, and that sort of thing. But then there are things like the soap dyes, which Glittersniffer has been selling as eyeshadow. I'm going back. Sorry, it's going to be quite a bit of a ramble, this. It's just, oh, I'm so disgusted. It is so depressing that someone would do this stuff. Anyway, Glittersniffer claims that they were always sold with a note saying they weren't used on the eyes, well, they weren't approved for use on the eyes. But this isn't true. There are screenshots, and you can go to her Etsy listings where Glittersniffer actually recommends using it as an eyeliner. Okay, soap dyes aren't approved for any cosmetic use, not for concealers, not for foundation, not for blush, nothing like that. Because they're for soap, it gets diluted when you put it into the soap mixture and then diluted again with water when you wash yourself with it. So while the stuff isn't safe, if you're just using it in that very short amount of time, it's okay. However, people have been using this as eyeshadow, and it's just, oh, it sickens me. Not only were these things sold, well, oh, going back, some of these were sold saying it's not approved for eye use, such as the soap dyes, like I just said, but the majority of these were sold as eyeshadows with no warning. And then Glittersniffer came out with a statement in December that said that they had that the statement actually said that they'd known for a while that they weren't safe, but they decided that they wanted to give their customers everything they possibly could, which is just the most disgusting excuse. So your excuse is you wanted your customers to be able to buy poison, basically, because it's a pretty colour. It doesn't make any sense, it's just awful. Anyway, some of these things, which were not eye approved, but were sold as eyeshadows, included cancer collections for charity, more on that later, and a little girl's cosmetic kit, that being a kit that was specifically designed for people to give to their children, which is just... I can't even describe. They knew these things were unsafe, and they packaged it for kids. Okay, on to the next point, which would be the charity. Glittersniffer had a few charity collections, some of which were like the cancer collection, which were basically a set of products where then the money was all going to go to a cancer charity. Now, to date, I'm not actually sure. I think maybe one of the charities got the money. Maybe not even that, I'm not sure, but there are about 3 collections, and definitely 2 of them are still waiting on the money. There was also a couple of collections done, sort of small collections. There was a girl whose father's house burned down, and Glittersniffer said that they were going to raise some money for her, so she was really, taken back by the kindness of this. She still to this day hasn't received any money. What Glittersniffer says happened was that the money that was raised for charities then was used to grant refunds because of the recall that happened. But if you're raising money for charity, it shouldn't be in the same account as your regular money. You should set out a dedicated account to collect the charities in, otherwise, it can get confusing trying to work out which was for charity and which was your normal thing. If you're not going to do that, then you need to at least get the charity money out of that account as soon as possible. As soon as it's in, either send it to another account or send it to the charity straight away. Instead, it was sitting around in her PayPal account, so that when PayPal started issuing refunds for people due to the recall, more on that later, the money that was said for charity was used. So Glittersniffer said that they're going to re-raise the money for charity, and if you're going to re-raise the money, then that money should be going as well as the old money that was collected, not instead of. It's fraud, it's stealing from charity, and it's disgusting. So basically what happened was in December, Glittersniffer decided to come clean that they've been selling people poisonous substances, and said they were going to do a recall. The thing was that you had to send in your old pots of pigment that weren't safe, and you were going to get a refund. Or, if you preferred, replacement colours that were safe now. Now, the list is insanely long of how many weren't safe. Basically, any pink shade is unsafe. I'm going to link to the list. I'm not sure of the rest, but there are so many colours, it's insane, that aren't safe for use. At least on your eyes. You could use it as blush or nail polish in some cases, but in the case of, say, the soap dyes, you couldn't use it as that either. Now what's happened is I think a few people have got refunds, mainly through PayPal just doing it for them, but other people are still waiting, and they've been waiting for about 3 months now, and I can't see they're ever going to get their refunds. The reason Glittersniffer is using that these refunds haven't been issued is that because her PayPal account was shut down due to the vast number of claims being put on it by people who either had a recall or who had damaged or missing orders. They froze her PayPal account, and now she says she can't go in and add money to refund people. Now, other people have got in touch with PayPal, and what they say is that she can easily add money to it, she just can't remove money. So she could be adding money all this time and granting refunds, though I haven't spoken to PayPal myself. I don't know if that's the case, it's just what I've read. But she could also, send people cash, or a money order, or a bank transfer, or something, but she's just saying, oh, I can't use my PayPal, and so I can't refund you. Now, what she's saying is that she can't use it for 180 days until it's unfrozen. But what PayPal have told people is that after 180 days, it'll be kind of her account will be shut down. So either that's untrue, or Layla, the woman behind Glittersniffer, has got the wrong end of the stick, or she's deliberately lying to say I can't give refunds for 180 days, where in fact after 180 days she won't be able to give refunds. It's all very confusing and just horrible. Another thing, Glittersniffer always said it was a 100% vegan company, but it's not. There are a few colours that were actually admitted weren't vegan, but if you look at somewhere and it says we're 100% vegan, you might not then think, oh, I better search this listing and check it doesn't have a thing that says it's not vegan, because you've already been told that everything in the shop is vegan. Now, one reason, but there are also some products that weren't disclosed that they weren't vegan that people have now discovered contained carmine, I'm not sure. Someone said that they bought a pigment for a friend who was allergic to carmine because they were assured it didn't have it in it, and of course their friend then had an allergic reaction and had to be hospitalised. Another thing, lots of people have become ill from the pigment. There are pictures of horrible eye injuries and just other people saying they had it but they don't have photos to prove it. There's a poor girl who lost her job because she couldn't go into work because her eye was so badly damaged. And Glittersniffer and their fans are saying, well, there's no concrete proof that the eye injury was caused by the product. Now, of course, that's true. It would be very hard to concretely prove that the eye injury was caused by the product. However, I think of it like this analogy. Say you went into a restaurant and you had dinner, and then the next day you had food poisoning. Now, you might think, oh, it was the restaurant straight away, but you couldn't be sure. Say you'd eaten something earlier in the day, it could be that. Say you then found out a lot of other people had eaten that restaurant and got food poisoning. Now, that's getting to be quite a big coincidence already, but still, maybe there's a small chance. However, say the restaurant was found out to be unsafe and dirty, then, while it still might not be concrete proof, it's pretty much clear. And it's the same with Glittersniffer. So many people have got injured, and she's admitted to using unsafe products to make her eyeshadow. And also, my next point, there are photos where the conditions are completely unsanitary. There's been photos of people holding pots of pigment with bare hands. Now, Glittersniffer have been saying that these were just people sort of putting the lids on and they weren't actually touching the pigment, but there's also a picture of someone pouring pigment into jars without gloves. Glittersniffer again says that this person was doing it for their friends or something, but if you're doing it in this photo was taken place in the same the lab, I guess, where all Glittersniffer pigments are made. So if you're going to even be doing it for your friends, you should observe hygiene so there's no cross-contamination. And in another photo, she says they were just putting lids on, but their fingers were completely stained with pigment, so it seems very unlikely. There's another photo of someone cutting soap just on the table with no kind of protective sheeting, and that wouldn't be so bad if we knew the table was clean, but there's like a coffee mug and kids' Play-Doh in the photo, so it all just lends it. And also she's cutting it with a big kitchen knife. Now, of course, the knife could have been kept solely for soap, but you don't know it is. It could have been used to cut something else. Also, Leela, who runs Glittersniffer, the other day said, of course I don't wear gloves when I'm handling soap, because it's soap. You don't wash your soap, which is so not the point. For one thing, no, I wouldn't wash my soap, but I'd hope that whoever was making it was hygienic. Someone has said that they were in a house and Leela has been smoking and gone to the bathroom and returned to filling orders without washing her hands and without wearing gloves. Now there's no proof of that, but if you believe the person, that's pretty disgusting. There's so much, I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot, but okay. Glittersniffer are now complaining that they are going to sue for defamation of character, and the thing is that they've been harassed. Layla left a voicemail on a girl's answer phone where she said, "You forgetting I know where you live, you C-word." Which is, and her reason behind this apparently was that this person had been spreading gossip that Layla had told her in confidence. However, there is absolutely no proof that this person has spread the gossip. The one thing that has been screenshotted was this person saying, "Layla, you told me some stuff, but I don't think that's an excuse for your bad service," sort of thing. She didn't go into why it was, like what the problem was. She just said, "You've told me something personal, but I don't think that's an excuse." That is not a reason to ring someone up and leave a threatening voicemail. There've also been other text messages photoed where she she calls someone a hooker, and she says again that she knows where they live. It's all very scary, really. I mean, some people might find that okay, but if I got something like that, I would be really frightened if they did know where I live. God, there must be more, but I just can't remember. Oh, well, another thing is, when they came out with the recall, there was this big statement about what they were going to do. There was going to be, from now on, they were only going to sell on the Glittersniffer official site. They were going to well, it kind of contradicts itself, because they say, "Oh, we always use gloves," but then they also say, "We're now going to implement using gloves." What else did they say? They said there was going to be a much shorter turnaround of orders, and that they would never sell anything they didn't have, only what was in stock. And other things, none of which has been followed through. Glittersniffer first of all sold on Artfire, and now are just taking orders via email, so not just selling on the official site. They also have gone back on their word about selling just what they have in stock. They've been taking pre-sales, meaning selling things before they have the items made, or in some cases before they even have the supplies. The list goes on, and it's awful. Also, because their PayPal account was shut down, she started using her husband's PayPal account, which is against PayPal's terms of service, so that was shut down. So now she's using Google Checkout, which has very little buyer protection. So you're kind of on your own if something goes on wrong with your order, which is still happening. There are still people on the Glittersniffer fan page saying that they haven't got their orders. So just please do not buy from these people. While they say now that everything is safe, how can you trust them? There have been so many documents proving that they were unsanitary and unsafe. And, you know, she's admitting that she's still not sanitary in all aspects, like with the soap. She's saying you don't need to wash your hands before you make soap, which is just... and I really hope that people just at least get informed, read all the links, learn about everything. If you've got these products, I really hope that you can get a refund, but frankly I can't promise anything, because she's said to some people, well, you're never getting your money back. Oh, that's another thing. If you talk about her in a negative way, she will block you from the fan page, delete, even if it's just sort of something like, "I'm not sure what I've heard is going on," sort of thing. Your post will get deleted. And she said to some people, well, you're not getting a refund, or you're not getting your products now, because they voiced negativity. The girl whose dad was in the fire, she didn't even say anything that negative. People asked her if she'd got the money, and she said, "I'm so sorry if you sent me money. I haven't received it yet, and I'm not sure I ever will, so I'm so sorry. It was taken in my name, and you didn't receive it, and the money kind of didn't go to me." And for that, Leela sent her an email saying, "Well, I'm not giving you the money I said I would now." It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. If you have any of her products, even the ones that aren't on the unsafe list, I wouldn't use them. I mean, I know it sucks to be out money and to have a product that's unusable, but you can't be sure it's safe. and you know, your eyesight is so much more important than a jar of pigment. There's someone on the Glittersniffer Complaints Facebook page who is using the pigments in an art project, so it won't be going to, you know, anything that could harm someone. So if you wanted to send them to them, it would be great. I am just so thankful that I never bought from them, because I was close at one point. I saw some pictures and I thought, oh, that looks lovely, and I was going to make an order, but thankfully I was too poor at the time. I'm really sorry to have to bring you such a negative video, and I hope I don't have to again for a long while, although there's another company at the moment doing something bad, so I'm really sorry to have to bring you something so negative, but I just think everyone needs to at least know what they're in for if you have her products. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to leave a lot of information in the bar below. If you would like to look, that would be great, and I hope no one else has a bad reaction, and anyone who wants a refund can get it. Thank you very much for watching.